Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. We are going to have a great broadcast today. We have none other like no other, Mr. Coach Aaron Wright from the Leap Association. And today we are discussing, are you coachable? Are you coachable? It's going to be him and I for a minute. My brothers have things they're taking care of, and they'll be joining in with us later. So just hang tight, hold it down, and we'll be right back right after. I never have it ready. Right after this intro.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
All right, here we are. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Brother Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Happy Tuesday, another day. We get to see, we be in the land, what did it say, the land of the living.
Land of the living. Absolutely. Thank goodness for
Indeed.
that.
Yes. Real quick, everybody watching, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know that the brothers are on with Mr. Aaron Wright, Coach Aaron Wright, and we're gonna, like, again, as you can see by the title, "Are you coachable? Are you coachable?" And I wanted him to kind of share his journey and his journey in being coached as well. You know, what were some of his mindsets, things he had to change in order to be more coachable, as well as how do you become more coachable. Sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if you're the kind that's kind of been doing things on your own, and handling your own business. So welcome again, Mr. Aaron Wright. I keep saying Mr. Aaron Wright, Coach Aaron Wright.
There you go. All works. All works. Thank
All
you.
works.
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
so how long have you been in the coaching business?
Well, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the broadcast this morning. I'm excited. This is, of course, my first time on the broadcast, and I just
Yes,
want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I really appreciate it.
definitely. You are.
Being in the coaching industry is, of course, a wonderful experience overall. I engaged and started a Leap Association back in 2010, and
Okay.
it has been a
Nice.
spectacular journey.
All right.
Absolutely. Enjoying every moment of it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So jumping into kind of
Mhm.
the question, what has been like, what has helped you become coachable? Like, have you ever been the type to um made it hard to listen or to accept criticism? Have you been in that space before?
I think we all have. I
Okay.
think the idea of criticism and the experience of it naturally
Right.
comes as a negative feeling.
Right.
By the way, we have a tendency to feel and the impact of things negatively in a much more significant way than things that are positive. So, yes, certainly for me, having criticism in the earlier years is something that you see a bit offensively, if you will. But
Right.
I think through the awareness and understanding that we ideally come to,
Yes.
then we look for it,
Yes.
we ask for it, and we appreciate it. So I am certainly there at this part of the journey and looking forward to having that view from the outside looking in, which is a great view to have. Absolutely.
Nice. Nice. All right. So getting into, like, you said,
Mhm.
so you've been doing this around 12 years now, and you've had dozens of clients. Um, what have been some of your most challenging clients, and what was some of the ways that you overcame, some of the challenges? Because people want change. I want to be better.
Absolutely.
I want to be in
Absolutely.
greater circles. But
Sure.
when you know, and I always go back to, it's like losing weight. You see somebody with the six pack. I want that six pack, and then you got to go to them and say, "This is what it takes to get that six pack." Then it's like,
Right.
"Oh, all that." I
Yeah, there
got
you
to
go.
change all
That's
that.
very much. That's right. That's right. That's
So,
right. That's right.
oh, in your
That's right.
journey with your clients, what have been some of the challenges
Some of the
that
challenges.
you
Yeah.
face with some of your toughest clients that want change but
Sure.
are stuck
Sure.
in spaces?
Well, the whole coaching opportunity is to help individuals and to see themselves in the future, and
Right.
to have a great appreciation for that. And
Okay.
one of the questions, or the question, "Are you
Right.
coachable?"
Yes.
really includes that understanding.
Right.
As it turns out, most people think
Right.
about yesterday, all
Mm.
the time, and the idea of thinking about the future isn't nearly as prevalent on average. So, some of the experiences I've had, including understanding if a person is coachable. In one case, this person really felt like um, not being prepared was a good plan, and that just being spontaneous would
Okay. Okay.
work just fine. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
and it
Okay.
was
I
a
got it.
bit of a challenge. In their appreciation, it was about being ready for whatever happens,
Right.
and that
Right.
included, that I thought included, not necessarily having a structured vision or a structured plan. So
Okay.
that particular scenario was one where I did have to back out of it and
Wow. Okay.
offer other opportunities for that person to find their way forward. See,
I got
because the big thing is this: if a person has this view of themselves that is related to their past,
right.
and getting them out of that is what it really takes. And if they
Yes.
have something that has happened to them substantially in a way that it impacts the way their mind works and the way they think,
Right.
then they may not be ready for coaching. They may need
Oh.
counseling, right? Which is
Okay. Okay.
a
Okay.
different part of it. So
Yes.
part of my function as an executive coach is to make that determination. Is the person coachable, or will counseling be more suited to where
Mm,
they are at this point in life?
that's
So
good.
it's something that we have to discern as fast as we can, right?
Right.
To move forward. But
Right.
um, that has been probably the most extraordinary case,
Okay.
where
Okay.
the person felt like they didn't need a plan. I mean, they were just very, very focused on that, to the extent that
Okay.
it was hard for me
Right.
to move them into appreciating themselves in the future.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I got you. So they weren't
Yes, sir.
even trying to move off that space. What's up, Richard? Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I got Brian hanging in the wings. I'm gonna get him in here. Um,
Mhm.
and this we're gonna chop it up a little bit. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just take a quick break, make
Sure.
a transition, and we'll be right back after this. Right. So speaking of, making an adjustment. Speaking of therapy, make sure you guys come hang out with us on tomorrow. That's that church word. On tomorrow, Wednesday. Only place I've ever really heard it. That's how you know church people like, oh, I hear that vernacular. So tomorrow, Wednesday at 7. Make sure you check out Matt Genius. He's going to be discussing drilling down how to deal with anger and how anger is affecting our community. So make sure you join and be a part of that, and register. Go to brothersoflegacy.com for that. Again, so we're back with Mr. Aaron Wright, Coach Aaron Wright in the building. And we got Pastor Brian McCory in the building as well. So
morning, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday. So we're talking about, he talked about some of the challenges. All right, we're gonna let this one slide. I'll let you get that one in, Richard. He said, "Oh, the right there." Oh,
I'm not gonna mess with Richard Fade this morning.
So we do talk about the therapy coach kind of dynamic, parameters, because there are things that you as a coach, like, okay, this is an area I can help in. Then there are things that are so deep seated, it's like that's beyond my depth. I don't go that far. I deal in specific areas where you're stuck trying to move forward with certain things, but when you can't move forward, it's like you need a next level of professional to assist you out of that space. So like you said, that's one of your extreme cases, or extreme clients where they were stuck in a space where they wanted no structure, but they wanted to learn and be coached, kind of thing. Was that the basic challenge?
That was the challenge, Brother Anthony. In this case, this was a young student in their early years in school and college. And yes, that was their perspective. That was their mindset. It was a good plan not to have a plan. Right. And just the most interesting exchange that I've had.
Okay.
But those are very few and in between.
I got you. So what's something else that you've seen when clients come to you and they want that change or they're trying to achieve something? What are some of the common barriers that you see that you've helped them overcome? Like some of the main things that you've noticed.
Well, for us, there's two important areas to begin to explore and understand. And the first one being that you are not your mind, right? And then the second being understanding how the mind works. So those are the two big areas to connect to and to explore. And in all, that is the beginning of our work and the foundation of it, in fact. So when you understand your story and understand that your story is your story and it's a fantastic part of your experience, right. The idea of creating something new and writing your story moving forward is what you look forward to do. But at the same time, your story is your power, right? It is your opportunity to share and to expand and to extend that experience. And it's what makes you unique. Right. So it's an interesting journey overall, Brother Anthony, in helping people to move in that direction and have that as a beginning to their understanding.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
So we're not rewriting our story. We are readjusting how we view it, how we explain it, how we share it. The story remains the same. It's how it is presented.
Well, the story does remain the same as it has already been, as it has already happened. Right. But the opportunity is to write the story moving forward and to know you're writing that story and to know that you are the director and to know that you are creating every detail of it. And again, realizing that your story is what has made you you, and it is part of your experience and part of your empowerment to take that experience and use it in a powerful way. So you're right, brother McCory. Absolutely.
Let my story work for me and not against me.
Right.
Absolutely.
Good. So
really, I'm sorry, and just having that view. I often tell people, if you're a coach of a sports team, what's the most powerful technology you can use? Right. And of course, the answer is a videotape, where a person can see themselves from the outside looking in, a view you could never have from the inside looking out. And so coaching brings that experience to people and giving that view from the outside looking in, which we all need, right?
Right. Definitely. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Embracing your story. Embracing your story. So break down something you said. You are not your mind.
Yes, sir.
Break that down for us.
Absolutely. So one of my simplest ways of that exchange is to say this: the voice that you hear in your head is not you. You're the one that hears it. There you go.
Wow.
So
Wow.
appreciate that for a minute.
Right.
The voice you hear inside your head is not you. You're the one that hears it. And that understanding is what moves us in the direction of what we call being enlightened, right? Where you really begin to separate the experience of being a three-part being. And we, of course, subscribe and know that that is a foundational understanding that we have body, mind, and spirit, right? So that said, you are not your mind and you're not your body. And understanding that and moving that to the level of empowerment is what this is all about.
Right.
But we have an extraordinary power within us, and being able to realize that is important. Our minds really serve as our GPS, but we have to realize that. We have to put in the address that we want to go to. And when you miss that understanding that other people are looking to use your GPS is part of the challenge. And where your mind is trying to take you right now, the question is it a destination you put in there or someone else did? And or the world did, if you will. So those are some of the considerations. But foundationally, you are not your mind.
Wow. Okay.
There you go. You know, another thing I'll add is everyone's had the experience with a GPS where the GPS says turn left and you go, I'm not turning left, I'm going straight.
Right.
I'm not going that way.
Right.
And but the GPS will continue to try to get you there.
Right.
And our experience with our mind is similar. We have to say, no, I'm not doing that.
Wow.
And until that designation is changed or that way of getting data from your brain is changed, then it'll continue to try to get you there. And so that is all part of the experience and the opportunity in moving through. There you go.
Gotcha.
Yes,
so hey, what's up? Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Mama Corey. So whatever basically your goal, whatever you're trying to get to, or your change or your life, it's programming your mind in a sense to go this particular direction. You know, the things that you say, the things that you do, the things that you think. So
sure. Well, again, you have to appreciate how the mind works. Now, there have been a number of studies around visualization, for example. And being able to visualize things as a human experience is extraordinary. And when you're able to see things in your mind, you literally can experience them with never being there, never doing the work, if you will. And one of the experiments studies that stands out was concerning, basketball and shooting free throws, where one group just kind of visualized themselves shooting free throws, and the other group actually practiced shooting free throws. Well, in that particular account, the folks who visualized themselves did just as well. Now, I say that to say this: we are understanding more and more about how the mind works. But I will tell you, we know a lot about how to use it, right? And the same thing is true about the GPS that we use to drive to a destination. We don't necessarily know how many satellites it uses or what frequency it's on. But we do know how to use it. And what we've learned about the human mind is that if you visualize yourself in the future,
Yeah.
it has an extraordinary capability to filter out and to single out things that will support that vision and support that thought of the future. And that is extraordinary as a human being. And it is what separates us from every other species on the planet. So being able to visualize yourself in the future is, of course, critical. And then working your way back to the present to incorporate the steps to experience that, along with what your mind is going to do for you, which, of course, is tremendous.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's deep, man. It's because it reminds me of scriptures that are foundational to me.
Right.
I've often talked about the book of Peter, where he talks about the dangers of being short-sighted,
Right.
not being able to see into your future. But a lot of it is because of what our mind does to us, because of the challenges, the vestiges of our past. The fact that you can't release yourself or change the picture of what your past represents in your mind causes you to disqualify yourself from a positive future.
Right.
Because you see it wrong. So, but when you said that your thoughts are not you, I would immediately went to, so a man thinketh.
Yes.
So is he.
Yes.
So in my mind, I'm saying, well, the Bible says, I am what I think.
Right.
The reality is, that's why you have to be careful.
Right.
You have to be careful of what you think, because you are what you eat.
Yeah. Right. 100%. 100%.
And you can cancel your future.
Right. Right.
By misinterpreting your story, holding on to your past.
Yeah.
I love and it goes back to, you've heard me say this phrase all the time. If your circumstances are to change, you must take the brush of faith and paint in vibrant living colors on the canvas of your tomorrow.
Right.
J.W. Macklin, you got to paint the picture. You got to write the story. You and you hold the paintbrush. Aaron Wright says you are the director.
Yeah.
It's your show. That's good stuff.
It's my show. It's my show. All right.
It's your show. And you know what, Brother McCory, one of the things that we understand about being human is that we have a tremendous amount of thoughts every day. That is a weird science. And they say up to 60,000 thoughts a day. Okay. Well, 95% of them are about yesterday. And 80% of those are negative. Now, that's an average person.
Wait a minute.
Okay, that's an average person. So now, if you don't know that, if you don't know that's how your mind works as a default, then you start to believe it's you. And that is one of the challenges that, of course, we move past as soon as we can. It's something to know.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna take a quick, not a break, but I'm gonna reset. Welcome everybody to the Brothers of Legacy. I'm A.D. Walker, Pastor Brian, McCrory. I have Kaneem, aka Bone Crusher, in the building, and Mr. Reparations, aka Ephraim Terrell, in the building, and our guest today, Coach Aaron Wright, who is dropping some knowledge on us, blowing my mind this morning. That statistic of 80% negative, 95% is from the past. I can't even argue that, because most of my thoughts and stress is like stuff either I didn't do I should have done. Wow. So I got a measly 20% of positive that I need to pull out from somewhere. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen. So
good morning. How you fellas doing this morning, man?
Wonderful.
Great and getting better. Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to co-sign what Coach Wright was saying when I got on.
All
right. Because I think about myself in the future all the time.
All right.
And I think about myself in the future being great all the time.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Wow.
And yes, it's fantastic to have that view of your destination in the future. One of the things to bring to the conversation also is once you have that view of yourself in the future, of course, you have to function in the present, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's kind of like hitting a golf ball. You have to focus on hitting the ball. If you look downfield to see where it's going, guess what?
Yeah.
It's probably not going to go there. So you have to work on the mechanics in the present where you are today in order to make that projection and move towards your future experience. And we, of course, call those habits, right? So it's a big understanding as well that we have to be in the present. We got to focus here, but the mechanics of it is what we do day to day and moving us in that direction. So that's an important point as well.
See,
Very important. I co-sign that.
I say bowling.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a difference between pin bowling and spot bowling. You bowl watching the pins. It works out good for the first couple of throws, but it doesn't work out for the duration.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. And so is swimming. I mean, when you're swimming, you work on your stroke, your breathing. If you lift your head up to look at where you're going, guess what? Right. You're going to change your momentum. But it's about the mechanics of what you're doing in the present that is extremely important.
All I'm gonna say is
I got all kind of stuff going on in my head, man.
I've bowled several times with Pastor. He ain't never said that to me. And
bowling?
Yes.
That's because we compete in bowling.
Okay, there you go.
Can't tell you how to win, right? Can't tell you how to win.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
The only time you can benefit from looking down at the floor is bowling.
Wow.
Bowling is the one, just like golf, the one place where if you look down the lane,
yes.
You lose. But you look at the floor, you find your spot on the floor and hit the same spot every time.
Right. You know where it works.
You go, don't lift your head up. Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
That's right.
That's the old.
I got to learn how to hold the ball first. I don't even know how to hold a bowling ball. So I got to learn that habit first.
There you go.
Don't you have
That's
to look
good
down
though.
the road
Focusing on the right thing. It's one thing to
get you from.
It's funny. You can hear people talk about, I want to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
But you've overlooked the first round of the current fight.
Right.
It's important to see down the line.
Yeah.
But it's important to also have a tactical approach, a strategy in what you're doing. So all of that is good stuff, man. I love that.
So Ephraim, you said something. You were making a comment.
I'm just wondering what the balance is. At what point, you count the cost, right? So in order to do that, you got to look down the road a little bit. So there's much wisdom in what you're saying. I'm just saying that what's the balance to it? You got to kind of look beyond. Yeah. At some point.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that, brother. And the balance comes again in our habits. Now, one of the habits that's important to have is to always review and measure what you're doing and to appreciate that in a way that you know that you're making progress. Okay. And so having a frequency of reviewing, acknowledging, and planning is essential. Okay. And as you do that, and you understand where you are and how your progress is, or areas that you have challenges, areas of growth, areas of opportunity, then you continue to nurture that. One of the things that I think we all appreciate is a doctor being in a practice, and they practice being better. They practice their craft. Well, guess what? We're all in a practice, okay? And we're all practicing continuous improvement. And that's the way we live. And so the idea is, yes, you're going to know what your vision is 10 years from now. And the work that you're doing today that contributes to that vision, you're going to know specifically what those measurables are. And you're going to approach that on a frequency of looking at where you are every point that you've designated. And let's say you do that every week. And I call it a wrapping session. That's RAP, which is for review, acknowledge, plan. We need to be wrapping every week, okay? And looking at where we are, what we've accomplished, what our goals are that will contribute to our success in contributing to our vision. So now there's a concept of understanding how vision works. That's important. And then also understand that missions contribute to your vision, and to be very specific about what they are, and to understand your goals. They actually help you to complete the missions. It's all connected. And when you understand that and you're working that in the strategic way that it is laid out, you get the results. That's the way it works. So, but yes, sir, you do take a look, and you have a picture of it where you're going, and it's very clear. It needs to be clear, and that what makes a difference for us.
Wow, that's good. I love the question that you had, E. Paul talks about and again, as a child of God, let me put it this way: as a believer, I want to walk upright before the Lord.
Right.
But I have to have checks and balances, because the ultimate goal is getting to heaven.
Right.
I want to be where Jesus is, right? But Paul says I must examine myself daily.
Right.
That's the wrap.
Right.
Right?
That's the
I
wrap.
have to make sure that I am in the faith.
Yeah.
Because if this is my goal, I got to make sure that what I'm doing today is going to be profitable for my future.
Yes.
And we just had this conversation. A lot of the challenges that I'm dealing with today are the vestiges of the decisions that I made 10 years ago.
Right.
And 10 years ago, if I had thought about my future present, my future today,
right,
I wonder what I had been making the same decisions 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So as I look into my future, I know I want to get there.
Right.
But I got to make sure that right now, today, what I'm assessing is going to be profitable in 5 years, in 10 years, so that I don't wake up with regrets then for the decisions that I made today.
Absolutely. 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 And I'll add to that. When you think about a long-term objective. So for example, if I ask anyone, can you do a 26-mile marathon today? Some of you may say yes. Others may say, I can't do that.
Coach,
I can't do the 26-mile marathon.
He said, what?
26-foot marathon.
26 steps. I got you on 26
steps. So, that type of a goal is a stretch, and we need stretch goals. But the understanding is you're moving in that direction. So as you move back to today, it includes how much it's going to take you a year to get ready. Let's say it's going to take you a year to get ready.
Okay.
Well, your measurables happen each quarter, and you have measurables that happen each week. And you have measurables that happen each day. So you're going to look to run more each quarter. Okay. And each week, each day, you're going to do the things that give you the ability to do it. You're going to eat right. You're going to exercise. You're going to stretch. You're going to do those things that are going to move you towards that long-term objective.
Right.
So once you have that long-term objective, brother, and that's where you're moving, you're going to be now looking at what you're going to be doing today that's going to get you to that experience. And that's what the strategy is all about.
Coach, some of those things you're talking about are like, they're measurable, like I can measure weight loss. I can measure strength, right? But is better. Can you quantify better? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how you measure that I'm better at the end of 2023. You know what I mean? Like, you can't measure a better person. Like, how do you set those goals?
I think you can.
How can you measure?
I think you can measure you're a better person than that.
How?
Right. I know I was terrible. Yeah, I mean, just self-reflection. I know I was terrible a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I know and it's just me self-reflecting on how better I've gotten. But if you ask the folks around me how better have I been, they would tell you the same, like, oh, you've improved, man. You don't even cuss as much as you used to. Everything
That's
you
a
say used to
measurable.
be a cuss word.
That's a measurable.
Yeah.
Right?
So me limiting some of the
I'm saying, if you wanted to stop cussing, you can measure that. You can count your cuss words for the year,
right?
And see how many you use. But I'm saying the better. That's just you self-reflecting. Like, I'm just saying we can notice that we got better. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that there's certain things that can be measured.
So I think it's what you're trying to change, and I'm gonna give space for Coach Aaron to speak, but it's what you're trying to change. What are you trying to improve, right? Like, my better includes, like, let's throw Kaneem, because he mentioned, the cussing, and I want to be on time. I'm tired of being late, but those are measurable. I don't want to react when somebody says something crazy, so you get in an environment, somebody says something, you don't say nothing, you high five, like, ooh, it was right there. It was right there, and I walked away, high five. And if you're around like a group of people, like if I'm with my wife and she know I react, high five, babe, you walked away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your measurables. What are you trying to change? Like, you want your marriage to improve. Like, where are we at? You just kind of check the temperature of your wife. Like, man, we've had a great month. Like, okay, boom, let's make it to the next month. Those are your measurables. Go ahead.
You definitely are.
You can bring it to. No, go ahead, brother. I'm done.
Okay. I was just going to mention, yes, this is really about cultivating great habits. Okay. And understanding that excellence is habitual. It's about creating great habits. You show me someone who is highly successful, I'll show you someone that has great habits, right? And so the idea is to identify the habits that will serve you well as identify the habits that are not serving you well. And that's something that we can do and understand through conversations, through analysis, through that view from the outside looking in, right? That will help you to appreciate cultivating and the importance of creating great habits. If I asked you right now, brother, if you have some habits that you would rather change, I'm sure you can mention a few. And in mentioning those, there's the beginning of your measurable in which you're going to be changing. You'll often hear me say, create a great day, right? Well, a great day is when you practice successfully the habits that you've decided to practice. That's a great day, okay? And if you get that great day and you put a string of great days together, then you are creating change. And that's, of course, what we look to do in this experience. Yes, sir. Brother McCoy, go ahead.
But I was creating a great day, and then you came along and cut me off at that red light. You messed up my day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? That does happen, doesn't it? And not only does people cut off your day, they'll cut you off in ways that are just what you call malicious, right? The strength of this idea of thriving in life, if you will, the essential foundation is in the fact that human beings have the ability to choose their behavior in spite of how they feel, right?
Right.
So understand that my dog here, she can't choose her behavior. You're going to see how she feels. You're going to know she's mad. You're going to know she's scared. She can't choose her behavior. Human beings can. And so when you hear a conversation about emotional intelligence, for example, it includes the ability to choose your behavior in spite of how you feel. Now understand, we were made to feel. This is not about not feeling, okay? But I do want you to appreciate that feelings are like data from your brain. And the question is, what are you going to do with the data? And that is a level of awareness that we reach. So when that guy cuts you off and you appreciate that anything may be happening with them, from going to rescue their mother to God knows what, then it is of no circumstance to you. And it doesn't bother you because you don't go to what may be a negative thought. So, but yes, it's about choosing your behavior in spite of how you feel. That's at the foundation.
It's good.
Yes, sir.
Wow. I had that as my answer, but I wanted to hear you say it to make sure I
Yeah,
since he said it, you guys know I'm smart.
Oh, that's
All
your
right,
own
all right.
self-reflection.
It's always
I think it's better when other people call you smart.
Yeah, there you go. And I was going to say, Brian, I know you, man. You're a genius, man.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So,
right. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, guys, the 3 areas for all of us to have in mind is one is self-mastery. The second is the strength of relationships, and then the strength of action. So if you look at the strength of self-mastery, the strength of relationships, and the strength of action, typically people have, 1 or 2 of those strengths, and the opportunity is to grow all 3, right? And so that is part of this ongoing journey in life, is to embrace and to grow in all 3 areas.
Right.
You said self-mastery, strength of relationship, and
action. The strength of action, correct.
Yes.
Self-mastery, relationships, and the strength of action. Not necessarily in any certain order, right?
Right.
Those are the 3, correct.
Which is the easiest to accomplish first?
Well, it's really, well, I tell you which one is the most important to accomplish first. It's the self-mastery. This is about leading yourself as a foundation. And then you can move into other areas, including leading others and so on. But self-mastery is extraordinary. I don't know if any of you ever practice martial arts, for example, which is a great form of discipline and self-mastery, right? And that is, I think, a clear example. But believe me, if you are able to appreciate the power of the mind, and speaking of martial arts, I don't know if you ever seen a martial arts exhibit where a guy takes a needle and puts it in his arm and then picks up a bucket of water and doesn't feel any pain. Is that possible? Yes. You understand the power of being human. Now, we're not advocating that you go and try that, but appreciate that self-mastery is really what it's about. And I'll say at the foundation of that is discipline. And that is the ability to make yourself do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Okay. And having self-discipline, embracing it, cultivating it, that's the significance of continuous improvement. Being able to be disciplined. Okay. And there's this conversation about motivation and discipline. Well, you got to hang your hat on discipline. Right. And that is what really makes the difference overall. But again, to your mention, self-mastery. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. Because you have to recognize, like for me, when you start giving the description of a man putting a needle through his arm, right? That's a level of pain. But then you add the weight to it.
Oh my goodness.
It's another level, right? So you're talking about the stages of self-mastery.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because first of all, it's overcoming the fact that you know things are going to happen. So this is what I say to people. I used to say this to people: 100 pounds is 100 pounds every day, all day. There's no day that 100 pounds is 79 pounds.
Right. That's right.
Always
That's right.
100 pounds. if you've never lifted 100 pounds, it's going to be heavy. Right. But as Aaron was talking about that rap, you know, every day you have a plan. Today I'm going to lift 5 pounds. Tomorrow I'm going to lift 10 pounds. Next week I'm going to be at 25 pounds. In a month I'll be at 100 pounds. What happens if you lift that same 100 pounds every single day for a month? It seems very light. And you find out, well, I can lift this up a couple of times a day, a couple of times an hour, whatever. It's still 100 pounds, but your discipline has caused you to overcome the weight of the 100 pounds.
Right.
So what's heavy for one is light for another. And the only difference is their level of discipline and consistency.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good.
I love it.
Discipline. Discipline is the key, guys. It's the key. And it doesn't matter about the areas that we measure in terms of your network, your education. You can memorize all you want. Discipline is it, and being able to execute that is powerful. So it's a big part of our approach to continuously improving and creating experiences. You know, life is just a ball, right? And being able to enjoy it to the fullest is what it's all about. And you ask anybody, they say it's about, you know, being happy. You know, but what does that look like? And so that is really a part of the understanding. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
That's the part where a lot of this stuff is just about defining some of these terms, because they probably look different to all of us. You know what I mean? It's something that even on the discipline, which I think is probably the most common definition for all of us, right? I think you broke it down beautiful. Regardless of what I need to be disciplined over, am I doing something I don't feel like doing? Or am I doing something that needs to be done regardless of how I feel, right? So those things are different for us. But when it comes to the discipline, it's common. But when it comes to like what makes me happy or what I'm after or what's you know, Kaneem might have a different version of made it than I got. His made it might be real low on my list. His that's not good. His that's not good enough might be perfect on my definition. Like, so it's those are the ones that you got to kind of get out there. And I think that's why. And I hate it may sound so old when I be against social media, but that's what I think is the biggest challenge for this generation, man. Like the comparison part. You know what I mean? That having to see what somebody else got going on. Some of those visuals, you know, can kind of mess you up. And I'm bad with social media. You know, I don't stay on it enough. But sometimes I got to break away from it because if I'm trying to work on losing weight and then everybody on there talking about celebrating the 50 pounds they just dropped, it might mess me up. You know what I'm saying? And that could seem like I'm weak in mind. You got to be strong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying in some cases, like the comparison part isn't helping when I'm trying to get my own thing going. And life is such an individual thing. You know what I mean? We can share some common bonds, but But no, I hear what you're saying, Coach. Discipline. I'm with you.
Discipline is it, brother. It really is.
And before I go, fellas, I just want to appreciate having Coach on. I got a few nuggets, even though I only been here about 10, 15 minutes, Coach. I appreciate them nuggets that you sprinkled.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let you gentlemen have a great day, man. I hate I gotta miss it, but I got to go.
All right.
Great.
Y'all have a good one.
Take care, bro.
All right. Take care.
So if someone needs to connect with you, where's a great place? I got your website up. Are there any other ways to connect, social media wise, or that we can connect with you?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, the website is on the screen there, leapassociation.com. And the cultivation of social media is an area of growth for us as well. But we're on all the platforms, and so look forward to connecting. Absolutely.
So is it under Leap Association or under Aaron Wright?
Oh, I'm sorry. My second coach is a tagline on social media. So I consider the fact that everyone is their first coach, right? And you should be able to coach yourself. So I am your second coach. And so the tagline is my second coach. And you'll find that on the social media platforms.
All right. You guys make sure you find Mr. Aaron Wright, my second coach, on all social media.
Yeah, and that's MY the number 2 ND
my
coach.
bad.
So it's MY the number 2 ND coach. Okay, and yes, that'll be the opportunity to connect.
Okay, awesome. So we appreciate you guys. Appreciate you being here. Someone else had a question. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Oh, okay. I thought I heard something. All right. So, Coach Wright, man, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Definitely.
Can you one more time give the acronym for LEAP, Aaron?
Oh, absolutely. The acronym is Leadership, Effectiveness, Accountability, and Productivity. Yes.
And what was the last one?
Productivity. P is productivity, being productive. Okay. Yes. So LEAP, Leadership, Effectiveness, Accountability, and Productivity. Right. And when you put all those together, that's a beautiful thing, right? So we have 7 competencies under each of those qualities that we include in our work for a total of 28 competencies that we practice, right? But thank you, Brother McCory. And I also just want to thank you, Brother McCory, for introducing me to the Brothers of Legacy. I appreciate you so much, man.
Indeed.
And I thank God for you.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, all right. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you share. Tag my man. There's some great nuggets dropped throughout this broadcast, and we need to let everybody hear this.
All right.
Yeah, right. You got it. All right. Oh, yes, so don't go anywhere, Coach Wright. We're gonna close out. Listen, we appreciate you guys being here. 2 things, maybe 3, 4. One of them, make sure you vote. We're in early voting stage. I know Georgia, especially the runoff, and they may be having runoffs in your area, but Georgia's been the one blown up in our face the most. So if you're in the state of Georgia, make sure you vote. Yes, indeed. We was gonna vote yesterday, but I gotta admit something. I was holding up the banner of never having a line in my area, never having a line, and we had a line in our area. I was like, not today.
2 hours to stand in line to vote.
Jeez.
And it was worth every minute because I left successfully.
Indeed. Indeed.
Remember, your voting rights are on the line.
It is.
Right.
So vote.
Yeah.
I didn't have patience yesterday, so we're gonna tackle it today because we had been out all day. I was like, no, not today, but we're gonna go tomorrow, which is today. So I'm putting myself on blast because I understand, But yeah, there's lines, so be prepared. Bring your own water bottle. Remember, they can't hand any out. so be prepared to stand in line, and you can do it, definitely. So again, we appreciate you guys for being here. Coach Wright dropping nuggets. When you drop nuggets like that, we definitely got to have him back to discuss, further the mind and how to make these shifts. And we get into the intricacies of some of what he has going on with the LEAP Association. If you want to contact him, go through. You said 28. Did you say 28?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the 28 competencies. Yes.
28 competencies. Yeah, 28 competencies. So he's giving you like this compared to the vast number of competencies. So if you really want to drill down, definitely connect with Coach Wright, and he will give you everything you need for a fee to make things happen. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you share, tag somebody. Great information. As always, know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Continue to stay safe, make good choices, and create a great day. That's going to be the line. Create a great day. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. And that's it. Be blessed, guys. Peace out. If I can find the right thing.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.